I was just in China and they got on the news and they were like, cancel all dinners, tell your family not to visit, tell everyone to just get some supplies and basically lock themselves in their house. So, I mean, it's scary, man. Like, I could be contagious. I haven't been around my son. I've been like, he's with his mom, and I was supposed to have him this weekend, watch Super Bowl, all that stuff. And it's going to be bad, man. China made a mandatory extension of the holiday. So normally everyone was back to work today, February 3rd, but they've extended it to the 10th. So they said people can check in virtually and start working if they can. But factories and logistics companies don't work virtually. It's bad.
What's up, guys? I got on a call with a friend of mine who's an Amazon seller who does 8 figures almost on Amazon. He mostly sources from China, and he has an office in China, and his wife is Chinese, and he just got back from China. He actually had to leave early. He works there usually. He had to leave early because of the virus. So we're gonna get the perspective of someone who's actually from there and lives there and works there. So we talked about how the coronavirus is affecting people in general, how people are living their lives in China in general, but also how it's affecting factories and business and how it's going to affect you as a seller. And this is not coming from the news. This is coming from someone who actually lives there or has an office there, and his wife is from there, and he knows a lot of people there. So it's coming from the actual source of what's happening there. Also, I'll be posting the full interview that I did with him, where he talked about how he sold $700,000 in sales in December only from products that he started in October only. If you want to see that interview, it'll be in the Facebook group. There's a link in the description below, or just look up the Brax Amazon FBA group. But first, I hope you enjoy this video, and I'll see you guys in the Facebook group. Let's talk a bit about the coronavirus.
I was just in China and
you want to talk about your relation to China first?
Yeah, so my wife is Chinese. We have an office in Shenzhen. We have employees. My wife's family is in Guangzhou and in Nanchang, which is in Jiangxi. Now, Jiangxi is the province just north of Guangzhou. Right next to it is Wuhan, with Hubei province, which is where Wuhan is, which is where that big outbreak started. There's apparently like a virus testing facility there, and a lot of people believe that the virus leaked from there, and they believe that it's been altered, right? The coronavirus is a form of SARS that has had RNA changed in it, apparently. Now, this is all like hypothetical, and I don't want to talk too much about it because I love China and I don't want to be blocked from going. There's just some shady stuff, and it's just not good. So when we went, after getting our work done, we were there for Chinese New Year. We went, visited with family in the south, and then we went to Nanchang, right in the middle of all this stuff starting to hit the fan, like all these outbreaks and like the numbers starting to rise and people like panicking. And so the day of Chinese New Year festival, like the actual dinner, they got on the news and they were like, cancel all dinners, turn your family away. Now, we were already there, right? They were like, tell your family not to visit, tell everyone to just get some supplies and basically lock themselves in their house. And if you're going to leave, make sure you're wearing a mask, but it's preferable that you don't even leave your house. And then they had just locked down the Wuhan.
And that was an announcement for all of China.
Basically, yeah. So specific provinces at first, and then started, as like the outbreak was spreading, they were making very quick warnings in other areas. Now, that shit wouldn't fly in the US, right? Like if they told all of Miami to stay inside, don't go to work, wear a mask, we'd be screwed, right? Yeah. Basically, everyone would still go out and spread it to everybody. But in China, like they don't mess around. Like in the military on the streets, and we drove from one city to another, and they stopped every single car and then took our temperature. Now it came out about the same time that like temperature is not a good measure because you can be asymptomatic, no temperature, no fever, no cough for up to 14 days. Now they're saying up to 20 days, and still be contagious. So just measuring like the forehead, like they were doing in the train stations and in the airports, is not good enough. That's what kind of concerned us, which is why we had dinner just in her grandparents' house. Then we immediately left back to like the city over that we had just come from in Nanchang. And we went back to Shenzhen where we have an apartment. We stayed one night in our apartment, and then we were going to stay there because we weren't due to fly out for 3 days. But I said, you know what, with the way things are going, people are going to be restricting travel everywhere from China. We better get into Hong Kong, which is just across the border there. We better get into Hong Kong and just stay at a hotel there and just lock ourselves in the hotel there just to make sure.
Why is Hong Kong better?
So there were outbreaks in Hong Kong, but it's like a central port, and a lot of people are coming in and out, and they had kind of contained it like to the best of their ability. But we were flying out of Hong Kong, and we could stay at an airport hotel basically, and then just stay away from people. Okay. And we weren't going to be restricted, just in case they did restrict the travel from China to Hong Kong, we wouldn't miss our flight. And we were worried that they were going to be canceling the flight from Hong Kong even. And so it turns out the day we left, they stopped travel from China to Hong Kong. So I knew that was like, I had thought they might do that, and it happened. And then now all the airlines have basically stopped taking any flights or sending any flights to mainland China. Yeah, so it's pretty scary. We wore a mask the entire flight home. We flew through Dallas. They didn't check us, right? We got into Miami. They didn't check us. We got our bags and we locked ourselves in our house. Like, I'm at my office now. This is the first day I've driven here. So I don't know if you count the time in the hotel because I flew. I don't know if anyone on the plane had it, how contagious or likely it would be that I got it from the plane wearing a mask the whole time, or the majority of the time. I took it off to eat like quickly and then put it on. So, I mean, it's scary, man. Like, I could be contagious. I haven't been around my son. I've been like, he's with his mom, and I was supposed to have him this weekend, watch Super Bowl, all that stuff. And we ended up just staying away, like saying, yeah, we're going to quarantine ourselves for, at least 7 to 10 days.
It's very responsible of you.
Well, I mean, I don't want to be responsible for the plague in Miami. It wouldn't get controlled here for sure. Like, I know that, but the outbreak is definitely a lot worse that is being reported. We know that from a lot of contacts we have there.
How have you seen it affect your Amazon business or business in general?
It's going to be bad, man. So China made a mandatory extension of the holiday. So normally everyone was back to work today, February 3rd, but they've extended it to the 10th. So they said people can check in virtually and start working if they can, but factories and logistics companies don't work virtually. And a lot of people that work in factories are from Hubei province. You don't understand like the size of that province and the size of Hunan, or the size of Wuhan. Wuhan is 3 times the size of LA. It's 12 million people just in one city. It's a central hub for travel. Just in that province where they've restricted travel, you're talking about over 30 million. And now those 30 million people, a lot of them went home and got stuck there, but they normally work in factories around the country. They normally work in logistics around the country. They normally work in jobs. So everyone in China, when the country shuts down for 2 weeks, everyone leaves where they're at and they go visit family. Everyone in the country. It's the craziest amount of travel. You're talking about 3 billion trips that, a billion people take inside of 2 weeks. And so people are traveling everywhere to get to family, and a lot of them got stuck there now. They say that the delay is till the 10th, but the reality is like you might be 2, 3, 4 weeks before you can get back to it might be a month or 2 months or 3 months before you can get back to any type of realistic manufacturing schedule, because they've got a backlog of orders already. But if they can't get to capacity as far as making products because they don't have employees, and then you have to worry about the quality being worse, because if they do fill the employee spots, they're going to be filling it with new people, which happens regularly anyway. After Chinese New Year, typically you'll see a drop in quality of your products because they're training new employees, and it's going to be even worse now. You'll have slower, worse product. It's bad.
It's bad. Yeah. It's really going to affect sellers. We're going to see Amazon products maybe disappear for a few months.
Yeah. If you're going to do product research, do it quickly because you're going to start seeing competitors not show up in search results as they run out of inventory. If you have a lot of inventory on the sidelines, like at a 3PL or in Amazon already, you have an advantage right now because, you got to monitor your competition. Be watching who's got inventory. Try to keep an eye on you can go add 999 to cart and see how many they have, right? There's other ways to maybe see if they have more, like there's other hacks and stuff. I think if your competitor has less than 100 units in stock and they're selling 20, 30 a day, hold out, like just raise your price. Mm-hmm. You're going to be running the market soon. You're going to own the market soon.
Yeah. So if you do have products, and you could probably raise your price, or you could probably try to slow down sales, I guess. I'm not sure.
If you're running low on inventory, you should slow down sales and yourself. So maybe just because you're going to run out anyway. Maybe
should people start looking for their product outside of China to source? Yeah.
I mean, that's not a bad idea. Like we're exploring India and a couple other countries. So Global Sources has a really good. So like Global Sources has a group, and then India Sourcing. So Megala that runs Global Sources also has a sourcing trip in India before Global Sources, like the 15th, there's a fair there of April. So she does a trip and stuff. So if you're looking at India, you're looking at Pakistan, depends what kind of products you're making too, like textiles, like toys. I can't get toys really made anywhere else in the world. Like if I get them made here in the US, it's going to cost me 3 times as much per toy generally. Like it's just much more expensive, but I might not have an option. It's better to, if everyone has to resort to that and prices go up across the board, then, like it is what it is.
So when do you think factories will be back and working, whether it's quality or not?
I would say some factories are going to be back as of next week. The 10th, like February 10th. I think it'll be limited. Maybe the middle 18th of the month, I think that you can get back to 60 to 80% of the country working. But it really depends what happens over the next couple of weeks with regards to the virus, how contained it really is. A lot of people have it and don't know it. And that's the danger. Like that's the scary part.
I hope you don't.
Yeah, I hope I don't too. I appreciate that.
Do you think it's possible that the US blocks shipments from China?
No, the virus, maybe by air. I know UPS and FedEx are not doing any pickups anymore. Even the pilots and the unions are refusing to do business in China. So you got to be careful how you're shipping. I think by boat, you're okay. Different types of delivery, you're going to be okay. Just make sure that whoever you decide to go with has not made any policy decisions not to deliver from China, because your stuff might be sitting in a warehouse for a long time. It might be months. Like, you could just get stranded inventory. It's going to be really bad. But the virus is very large and doesn't live very long on surfaces. I think a couple hours at most is what they're saying. But you can get it from a door handle. Like, someone coughs in their hand, touches a handle. If it was within a couple hours, you can get sick that way. So just wash your hands regularly. Be aware of anyone coughing. But, you know, if you have to be around people, just wear a mask. Like, try not to be around a lot of people.
Do you want to share where people can connect with you?
My public group is Seller System Succeeding on Amazon FBA. You can always connect through there. The free course that you're gonna post, like, there's message me on Facebook. Like, I'm accessible. I appreciate it.
So as you saw, Brandon has a lot of contacts in China, and he's friends with a lot of big sellers there. So he's actually bringing a Chinese professional Amazon seller to the US, and they're gonna have a 2-day workshop. But it's not really for new sellers. It's more for getting you to 7 and 8 figures. But if you do want to join the workshop, there's a link in the description below, and he gave us a discount, so you can use code Brax for $100 off. So if you want to join his workshop, check it out. It's only 2 days. There's one in Miami and one in Vegas. I'll be at the one in Vegas, so if you're going there, let me know. In the next video, I'm going to be talking with Brandon again about why he thinks, or we all think, that Amazon FBA is not as easy as people make it sound. He's going to break down his own numbers and show how much exact profit he makes from his own business. So if you want to see that, subscribe and click on the bell to get notified when I post. And if you like this video, please click a thumbs up. It really helps. And click right here if you want to see a video where I talk about why I genuinely wouldn't recommend Amazon FBA to some people. So click right here to watch that, and I'll see you guys there. Peace. But in this video, I want to shed light on who I wouldn't recommend Amazon to and who I would recommend this type of business to, because this business model is definitely not